Have you ever been looking to scale up your Amazon advertising campaigns and maybe you're running up against a maximum threshold of sales and you're trying to increase that overall budget, but you don't really know where to start? Well, if that's the case, this video is probably for you. Hi, my name is Aaron Farrell with Sellers Arena, and in today's video, we're going to be talking about how you can go into campaign budgets and be able to quickly identify across all your campaigns where you need to add additional budget and where you're potentially missing out on a lot of sales. So stay tuned. All right, so hopping right into this, basically right now we're just in the Amazon advertising console, and once you're here, you basically will just go to budgets on the very top. It's going to say that it's in beta currently. Right next to it, something they just kind of launched here. Essentially, what you can do once you're inside of this is take a look across all of your different campaigns and be able to tell which campaigns are actually running out of budget. So right now I've got this filtered for February 1st to February 28th of 2022. And essentially it's showing me average time and budget, or AVG, basically meaning out of that whole time period, out of that whole month, how much was this campaign within the budget constraints? Like, was there any times at, where it potentially spent over the budget or got close to maximizing the budget? And once you've determined that, this is where you can really start to hone in across a whole account level of different campaigns, especially if you've got a big catalog. Like in this particular instance for this account, we can take a look at all the campaigns and actually see which ones are running out of budget. So what I want to do first here is just click on this AVG time and budget, so that way it's basically showing anything that hasn't been in budget 100% of the time. So this is a very good example here. Essentially, it ran out of budget around 19% of the time, was in budget 81% of the time. In essence, because of that, there's a estimated missed impressions, meaning the number of people that would have seen the ad that didn't get to see it because of the daily budget of $120 in this particular example. And this is showing anywhere from 39,000 all the way up to 117,000 estimated missed impressions within this time period, and about 182 to 570 clicks, and an estimated of $649 to about $1,900 or almost $2,000 every single month on this particular campaign. However, one thing to note here is that just because we see this and Amazon's telling us that we're missing out on clicks, missing out on sales, doesn't mean that we're just going to all of a sudden, bump this up to $1,000 a day. We want to be very cautious and also methodical on, the reason why we would go in and increase this daily budget. So the next thing to really look at is the overall total ACOS, and this is, in this particular instance for this particular campaign, it's at around 38%. Then I would ask myself, okay, for this particular campaign and this particular objective, is this something that I could, realistically bump up? So good example is, let's say for your margin on your product is 45%. Maybe in this particular instance, we haven't hit that threshold of that 45% yet, which is break even, but it also can help significantly with organic rankings and things of that nature. So you have to know kind of your particular margin and what you're willing to spend up to on the overall ACOS. If this is over your margin, let's say your margin's at only 15% or 20%, maybe this is overspending, kind of like what you're comfortable with. So before you just go about increasing the daily budget, you may want to start to go into the campaign, start to refine bids, turn down things, maybe turn off things, add negative keywords, a bunch of different things that you would need to do inside that particular campaign to get that threshold down and the overall ACOS down before you want to maybe scale it up. Another example here, this one's at 55%, so this may be way, out of budget to go ahead and ramp up. And then you've got, 49%, 43%. 192%, and overall this is at 27%, so these are definitely quite high overall ACOS, so they may not be something where we would want to turn it up, because it's going to kind of even though more sales are coming in, they're going to be coming in at a higher cost. So, but that being said, if you look at this campaign, this is a really good example of one that we most likely would want to start to boost up here. Overall ACOS is at 22.51%, so it's definitely less than the average over the 30 days, and it's missing the actual budget about 17% of the time. It's only in budget 83% of the time. This one, it's anywhere from 14 to 42,000 missed impressions, 132 to 390 clicks, and anywhere from $780 up to $2,400 at a very good ACOS. So in this particular example, we would probably want to go ahead and turn up, this budget here. And a lot of times there's actually a recommended budget here, but for some reason it's not showing at the current moment. A lot of times if it's like hitting that daily budget, especially maybe if we looked at a little bit more condensed time frame, we'd be able to see that. Let's see here. So if we look at just the last 7 days, and doesn't look like it's showing us recommended budgets either, but go with kind of your gut there. I mean, just incrementally boost it up. Like, let's say it's at $120 a day. In this particular instance, maybe we try to set it for $150, and then see if it's going out of budget again, and then just keep ramping it up slowly but surely. And the other thing I wanted to show you here in this back end view is actually using this chart. So if you go through this, you can actually see on a day-to-day basis. So this is February 1st. It's saying that there was estimated missed impressions of that 14 to 42K. It's showing estimated missed sales, opportunities, and then it's starting to, basically breaking it down on a day-to-day basis. So you can really start to see, over time, a lot of these things could actually add up quite significantly. And it's not always to say that just because, like I was saying in the beginning, that Amazon's telling you that you're running out of budget or you're not in budget, doesn't mean that you just want to go ahead and blindly bump it up, but really start to look at, your overall ROAS, your overall ACOS, your other factors inside of your brand, like, what is your margin? Are you looking in this particular campaign? Are you looking to utilize it for ranking, for example? So maybe you're wanting to spend, up to 100% ACOS because you don't care, because at the end of the day, you're going to ultimately rank up higher on the organic ranks. Well, in that case, you may still, run up against issues with the budget running out, and it's at that 100%. So that, that rule would kind of go out the window. And now all of a sudden, like for this, maybe you decide that even at 192% ACOS, it's worth it to keep driving traffic. So this is all dependent on the overall type of campaign, but in essence, you can't really like optimize and scale at the same time. So what you need to do is kind of look at those factors on here. If the ACOS is too high, maybe you can start to try to optimize that campaign and then see if you're hitting the budget constraints. If you're not, then maybe just cutting that additional ad spend or adding negative keywords or getting rid of, turning down a particular keyword or removing a particular ASIN out of your campaign. Like a bunch of different things that you could do to potentially optimize. And then at that point, you could see, okay, now am I running out of this budget? And if that is the case, then you'll go ahead and bump up the budget. So this is just a little bit about the overall budgets inside of Amazon and how you can really utilize it, especially on a big catalog or when you've got a lot of different campaigns to look at a higher level, and you just want to be able to make really quick decisions on what you want to scale up and what's within, your particular KPIs to scale up and what you maybe need to optimize, and then see about the budgeting at that point, because you might be able to cut off a lot of daily ad spend just by getting rid of some things and really starting to optimize. And then once you're there, now all of a sudden sky's the limit with any campaign, as long as it's within the thresholds that you're comfortable with. So I hope you got some value from this video, and if you did, go ahead and give us a subscribe, hit the like button, and hit the notification bell as well. As of right now, we've been posting up about 4 videos every single week, just constantly dropping new value for you guys. We'd appreciate any support that you can give us, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.